The road not taken by Robert Frost. In the first 2 lines of the poem, the poet is saying that the 2 roads diverged in the yellow woods and sorry I cannot travel both. This means that poet is at a point where he is compelled to choose one of the given roads. He cannot select and travel on both and therefore has to pick one. The next 2 lines say, and be one traveler long I stood and looked down as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. This means that the poet kept on staring at the 2 roads, standing there as a traveler and looking as far as he could see. He was just trying to understand both the roads. The next lines are then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, which means that the poor took either roads which he found to be better, which was less traveled and uncommon. The following lines, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same, which highlights that the road chosen by the poet has not been used much. The following paragraph says, and both that morning equally lay enter in leaves no step had trodden black, which reflects that the road chosen by the poet had no footprints, which means it was rarely used, but still he decided to not go with majority population. Then he says, oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. This clearly states that poet has kept the road not taken by him for some other time, but still in his hearts of hearts he knew that it wouldn't be possible for him to come back and re-choose, as often ways lead on to the next and so on. He again thought whether he should go back and select the first one, but finally traveled on the second road. The message he is trying to give here is that decision making is very important and that too at right stages. Last paragraph says, I shall be telling this with a sign somewhere, ages and ages hence 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. This signifies that poet has left the poem with an ambiguous ending and not disclosing whether he chose the right path or not. He says that maybe ages and years later he will realize the difference that the road chosen made in his life. Someday he might remember the time when he was choosing between the 2 diverging roads and the road not taken. This poem is all about making right choices at right point of time. Various poetic devices used are yellow woods, assonance because it was grassy and wanted wear. Personification. The entire poem is itself a metaphor. Rhyming scheme for this poem is ABAAB.